What's up, San Antonio? What's going on, South Texas? This is the Area 210 podcast. My name's Mike Jimenez. That's Joe Garcia. This is the post birthday party edition of the Area 210 podcast. Thank you to everyone who showed up for Joe's 50th birthday party over at Pete's Place. Joe, have you sobered up, my man?
I did. I'm wearing my shirt today. I'm official member of the Old Balls Club. It says hang a little to the left is what the shirt says. So I had a good time. Thank you to everybody that came out. You and Francesca were out there as well. Matt Gomez went. Matt Lerma, my boy Steady, otherwise known as Ted. One of my best friends was there. Jonas Clark. Was a lot of people there. JC Special Leaf was out there as well. So shout out to him. Shout out to my brother-in-law for Pete and his girlfriend Christina made the trek out there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Noriega, Sean Quintero, and we had another friend of yours that was there too. I forget his name.
Oh, well, Gabe was there.
Gabe?
Mike showed up, and Mike's wife as well showed up. Elisa was there as well.
Yeah.
It was a good turnout, but the surprise was I showed up.
Yeah.
So it was around 6 p.m. here in Conroe. I was in San Antonio the day before, and I went back to Conroe, and it was date night. Me and the girl, me and Chica. Chica was getting dressed, looking all good, and I asked her, "Where do you want to go for date night?" And she goes, "We're going to Joe's party." And I said, "Okay." I said, "Okay, it's a 3.5 hour drive. We'll make this happen." Plugged it in on GPS, got out there. We got there by 9:45, and it was funny because Sean was surprised because Sean, I don't know about this, but Sean has me on location, like he knows where my location is at all times. And he and Alex both monitor me when it comes up like that, right?
Yeah.
Was funny. But I turned off my notifications. I turned off my location so that he wouldn't find me because I knew he'd look. And so I showed up there around 9:45. It was great. We ended the night at Taco Palenque because Mama Margie's was closed by the time we went over there. Palenque just sobered up a little bit. Ended up getting a hotel and then heading on back to Conroe the following morning. But happy birthday again, Joe, man. 50's a big deal, man. It's a big, big deal.
Yeah, it was a big deal. And it's always fun to have you and Chica there because she's a lot of fun as well, and it's good to see you all, and be able to enjoy that day with friends, and some family. So thanks to everybody who showed up. We do have giveaways. I left them in Mike's truck. Giveaway.
That's how you know it was a good night by you, Joe, is that when you leave things behind, right?
Yeah.
Matt Gomez on our YouTube stream, which our chat's powered by MCS General Contracting, saying Mike showing up as I was leaving was crazy. It was nice to talk to him as well. Hooper Flash saying Chica is a W. Very nice, very nice. Joe, it was a fun time. It's good times. But we drove back, and I was thinking to myself, let's just get a hotel somewhere. It's hard to get a hotel. I thought Chica had booked a hotel for us, like, I don't know, before we got there.
Hard to get one in San Antonio because the Final Four.
Yeah, 3 a.m. I'm there looking for hotels, and I found one on the south side, the Holiday Inn, man, Hotel Holiday Inn over there. So it was pretty fun. Hey, Joe, I was cleaning out my garage because going to be selling my house at some point this summer, right?
Yeah.
And going through boxes, and dude, I've been throwing away so much stuff, Joe. So much stuff is being thrown away, right? And my nephew and my dad were helping me the other day, and they were taking these boxes out. I was like, that's trash, that's trash, that's trash. And as I was going to the trash pile, where we're throwing them in trucks, taking them to dumpsters, all that stuff, right? I found this one box, Joe, and I thought, wait a minute, I haven't gone through that one. That one looks like I should be keeping that box. I don't know why, but that container looked like I should be keeping it. Went through it, Joe. Look what I found inside there.
What is it?
1999, Spurs winning the title, the Express News, the entire paper, including the sports section inside of here. So now I'm going to go off. And get this framed.
You have to, man.
I'm going to get that framed.
I have those, and I have one from every championship that the Spurs have won because I used to go out and buy the paper right away. Sometimes I used to have it out that night.
2003.
And the other thing that they had is La Prensa.
La
had
Prensa,
done
yeah.
one of Tim Duncan, and it says adios with him waving.
How about this, Joe? 1999 Sports Illustrated commemorative edition. David Robinson,
Nice.
finally. How about this, Joe? Well, what I also found in there was the where's it at? 2003 finals program, the 2005 finals program. I have more magazines and whatnot that I found over here.
Yeah.
So it was good, man. It's a good find. I also have somewhere in my garage these 1980s San Antonio Gunslingers gear that
God.
is in pristine condition. Very, very, very nice.
That's always good. You should put that up, the
Yeah.
old Gunslingers, the original Gunslingers gear.
Jesse A. Come on, man. Same Mike found an old box of hustlers.
The pages are all sticky. Can you imagine if you found that? Chica found that. She'd throw it out real quick. What is this?
Oh
Garbage.
my god. Okay, so I gotta tell you the story. I used to have this one roommate, right? I lived in Corpus Christi with a roommate of mine, and he was a bit of a cochino, right?
Yeah.
And when we lived together for a couple of years, and the boxes got kind of messed up. I got my stuff, he got his stuff, but one of his boxes came over. Dude, my mom helped me move one time and found it, and there was so much crap in there, that cochino stuff in there. I was like, Mom, that wasn't mine, man. I swear that's not mine. And I'm thinking to myself, what exactly was he doing while I was gone, when I was away from the apartment? Freaking funny, dude.
Look at that, Tony Ornelas. Can I have your first tie on your first day at KSAT?
Nice.
You don't have that tie no more.
Mm-mm.
You know what we do have, though, we're going to be talking about today as we set the table, Mike.
Yeah.
We're going to have the discussion. The 1 seeds are moving on to the Final Four. San
You
Antonio.
know what?
Is
I
that
got to
the
ask you
problem
about
again?
that question, because so many
Yeah.
people were on social media over the weekend saying March Madness is all about the Cinderellas. There's no Cinderellas. It's boring because it's the 1 seeds. Dude, I completely disagree. This is the best basketball experience you can have. When it means that the committee got it right, Joe. We talk about like the college football committee getting it wrong, how this team shouldn't have gotten a bye and this team shouldn't have been ranked 8 or shouldn't have been left off or whatever. The basketball committee got it right.
Yeah.
They picked 4 1 seeds, including Auburn, who had lost three of its last 4 games going into the tournament. And they picked the 4 teams that advanced all the way through.
Yeah.
I mean, and now you have the best teams playing in San Antonio. And Rudy J of In the Building pointed out earlier today on social media that back in 2008, when San Antonio hosted the Final Four, it was all 4 1 seeds as well. So San Antonio has a thing for 1 seeds, man. It's amazing.
They do. And the funny thing is, I was going to show you all what we have here because we have some graphics that they've been putting out. Especially, we're going to share the one from the Alamo Dome X on the X here. Okay. So what we're seeing is you're seeing. I don't know what this is. I don't know why it's telling me that.
What's that?
Oh, I hope you all can see it, but it's a
I see
graphic.
it.
And
Yeah, it
says
says Auburn,
Final
Duke,
Four.
Florida, and Houston.
Mhm.
Houston advancing all the way through. It's so cool, man. And this is going to be the final hurrah for the city of San Antonio until Project Marvel becomes a thing. I think we might have a women's Final Four still on the table somewhere along the line. But as far as the men's are concerned, it's been a great run, man. And for San Antonio not to have a top tier college basketball team. I know we have a Division I team in the American Conference with UTSA, but it's not the same as these big D1 schools over here, right? And for San Antonio to host this has been great, which shows how wonderful it is downtown for the tourists. You and I, as people who are from San Antonio, have lived in San Antonio most of our lives, we look at the San Antonio downtown and think to ourselves, man, it's kind of crappy, right? Got the Riverwalk, we got the Alamo and all that stuff. And to us, we grew up around it, right? Market Square, we grew up around it. And it's just kind of like ho-hum to us. Like, it's no big deal. But out-of-state people who aren't familiar with Mexican culture go into Market Square loving it. They go into the Riverwalk thinking it's pretty cool, even though we say we see a bunch of chain restaurants there. They think it's a cool experience, and Project Marvel will add to that experience. Keep in mind also, the city of San Antonio has also been planning on expanding San Pedro Springs as well, which
Yep.
is like
I
a
think I-
second Riverwalk attachment. You
a lot
got
of
the
artwork
Pearl,
there.
got the Pearl. Who knows, Joe? We might be sitting here 10 years from now thinking to ourselves, "Man, San Antonio's a pretty happening place." It
Yeah,
could be, it could happen.
one of the things that I saw over the weekend is you have the media that are already coming in, getting
Yeah,
settled in, getting everything ready, to go ahead and cover the Final Four. And you're seeing some of the national media, and one woman in particular had put something to the effect of, "Why didn't everybody tell me how cute San Antonio was before?" She's like, she's in love with the city, and she was taking pictures of the Riverwalk, I guess enjoying just walking around, seeing how beautiful our city is, and it's just beyond the Riverwalk. We do have a good food scene here as well, and just to see some of the love that San Antonio is getting from some people over in the national media is good. It's San Antonio in the forefront again in the eyes of the national media, getting the attention it deserves. And hopefully with Project Marvel, they can go ahead and, like they put in the renderings, kind of revamp the Alamo Dome and give it more of a makeover to bring it into the modern times. That would be great for the city, because if San Antonio wants to keep up with the Joneses, they're going to have to go ahead and do something here. And I think that's what Project Marvel is kind of setting the stage to
it
do for San Antonio to be competitive for years to come.
it depends on what you're trying to attract.
Yeah. Well, you
Okay.
want to track the Final Four? They're going to come back to the Alamo Dome
Well,
again?
who goes to the Final Four, Joe? It sounds as though, like, when you go to a bowl game for college football, right? You go to the Cotton Bowl out there in the Dallas area. If you go to, any of these bowl games, it's a bunch of kids, right? You look at 100,000 people that are there. You got half of them are alumni, half of them are kids. But when it comes to the Final Four, the tickets are so expensive that it's really a couples or a family oriented type of event.
Yeah.
And because of that, San Antonio was a perfect venue for it, because San Antonio is built around family fun. What is
Hmm.
San Antonio? Market Square, the Pearl, SeaWorld, Fiesta Texas, La Cantera, all the golfing, the JW Resort, all that stuff. It is family oriented. Okay. San Antonio skyline might suck compared to even cities like Charlotte, right? San Antonio skyline might suck compared to Miami, LA, New York, Chicago, whatever. But the Final Four is a family event, right? We see that with the concerts that are going to go on next weekend, right? The concerts, you have Jelly Roll, Chris Stapleton, you got T-Pain, you got
Dochi.
Pitbull, Dochi. You got all these people coming in there. Because why? The Final Four is a family event. It is for it's to take your wife and kids. It's to take your it's not spring break, right? It's not people hitting South Beach. It is a family oriented event, which falls in line with what San Antonio is. San Antonio is a family town. And they're not people don't want to go to San Antonio, go to the Final Four. The reason why they're enjoying coming to San Antonio is because they can get anywhere they can get to within 10 minutes. There's walking distance. You can go from downtown to the Pearl in a $12 Uber ride, right? It's all right there. Look, there's the Alamo. Oh, look, there's the Alamo Dome. Oh, look, there's the Hyatt. Oh, look, there's all these little bars and Be Kind Rewind and Esquire, and oh, look, there's Southtown. So it's all so close, and all the restaurants and all the hotels along the Riverwalk. San Antonio is really, really the perfect city for this type of event. And this is the last time we're going to have that for about 7, 8, 10 years until Project Marvel takes hold. And we're assuming that it's going to happen, but that's just going to add to it all, Joe. We're not going to be the destination for young kids.
You
But
know what?
for an event like this, it works perfectly.
What was I telling you? I was kind of joking with you at the beginning of the show, and I'm like, San Antonio has to keep up with the Joneses. Why? Because they want to go ahead and track these big events, right? Like the Final Four, another, high end concerts, entertainment, and host them either at the Alamo Dome or in one of the new stadiums that they're going to build there. Probably Spurs new stadium that they'll have, their new arena, should I say, that they're going to be building there. And they're also going to have that, we forget about all this. They're also supposed to go ahead and be building a new ballpark downtown as well, which
Yeah,
is
that
also going to
AAA
add to it.
for the missions.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, what did we say? San Antonio wants to keep up with the Joneses. Joneses, why? Because they
Yeah.
don't no longer want to be what, Mike? A poor
Little
city. That's what
well,
you say, right?
and Matt Lerma is on our YouTube stream. By the way, welcome back, Matt. You hadn't been around for a while. Saying that it sounds like I'm dissing city of San Antonio right now. Was I just dissing San Antonio? I said San Antonio has its lane, right? It has its lane. Family fun is the San Antonio lane, which is what the Final Four is. So I'm complimenting the city of San Antonio because they do a fantastic job of hosting these types of events, whether it be the Alamo Bowl, whether it be the Final Four, women's Final Four, men's Final Four. We're a convention town. That's where we're in our lane right now, which is why people come to San Antonio, rave about the city of San Antonio, about the Riverwalk and about all that. It's because it matches the aesthetic of who we are, what we look like, right? It works perfectly. San Antonio would not be a good place for a Super Bowl, right? Would not be a good place for a lot of events that are geared towards younger people. Super Bowl's family oriented as well, but still, I don't think it would work. But
Why wouldn't it work?
we're not an exciting town.
Why work?
San Antonio is not an exciting town. It's not. Never will be.
So let's say
But
San Antonio
it's a
hosted
family fun town.
San Antonio hosted a Super Bowl at some point in the future. If people wanted to go have fun, you don't think they would go to the city of San Antonio? They're going to go to Austin or somewhere else. They
Right.
wouldn't stay here. Is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is that there wouldn't be enough to do. There wouldn't be enough to do is what I'm saying. It's just, we stay in our lane, right? If you want to have the glitz and glamour, you go to New York, you go to Miami, you go to a place like that, you go to Washington D.C., you go to Philadelphia, you go to San Francisco, right? San Antonio is different, and you talk about this about like the personalities of all the cities, right? Austin is the liberal city of Texas, right? Dallas is where the money's at. San Antonio is where family fun happens. It's just that's just the way that it is. That's our identity as a city.
Yeah.
And the Final Four fits perfectly to what San Antonio does and provides. And if you can add a Project Marvel to it, we'll keep getting it because the tourists who go to the Final Four love San Antonio. You know why? Also the weather. The weather holds up pretty well in April.
In March and April, yeah, man. But in the middle of June, July, heck no, dude. It's too hot.
So Samson just asked the question, at what point does the big city, small town mentality begin to be detrimental? Honest question. I mean, dude, we could have a 5-hour conversation about that. A 5-hour conversation about that. And I think that San Antonio prides itself on being working class, family oriented, and things like that. And that's great. But at some point, there's a brain drain that goes on in the city of San Antonio, and it's just, it's sad to see. But hopefully, with things like the UT Health Science Center merging with UTSA, maybe that's a big deal. San Antonio, man, was really happening when Kelly Air Force Base and Lackland Air Force Base and Brooks was running strong, man. There was when we were Military City USA. I know we still hold that title, but back when it was legitimately that was the case. That San Antonio had a different mystique back then, and when the BRAC Commission closed those things down in the 90s, San Antonio has not fully recovered from that. That's not a diss. That's just facts.
I think San Antonio could be it's a world-class destination that's kind of a hidden gem because people don't know enough about it, and that's a cool thing because I want to keep the city kind of, intimate in a sense. But at some point, more and more people are going to start finding out about San Antonio, coming out here and visiting and pumping money into the city. And that's a good thing overall for the economy. But for now, the locals here like me, like yourself, and other people that are here in the stream as well, we know what we have. We have a nice city,
Right.
It's a beautiful city. I've been to other cities like Baltimore, and they have a nice sports district over there as well. But they also have a harbor. They have this nice scenic area that you can just overlooks the water and you can just walk around, have a bunch of shops, place to eat. It's cool, man. And I get that, and I've been to other cities that have the entertainment districts, right? The sporting districts. I want that for San Antonio. I think the Project Marvel can be that, calling card to San Antonio. And it'd be nice to have that, let's say, mystique that some of the other big cities have. Because San Antonio is a big city, but it has that small town feel. And I think that Project Marvel will kind of modernize the San Antonio scene a
That's
little
the
bit.
word.
And
the
that's
word,
what we're wanting.
modernize.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jesse A reaches out to us in our chat line saying San Antonio is a major city with a small town mindset. We should be hosting World Cup games, college football playoff games, but the infrastructure isn't there. It's got to change. It's a very good point, Jesse. World Cup really should have been in San Antonio. Houston is getting it. Dallas is getting it. San Antonio should have been there. The support would have been there to do it. But like you said, the infrastructure wasn't there.
Where are
It's
they
just
gonna
not.
Where are they gonna host the World Cup here? We don't even have a soccer field. They have the
It'd be the Alamo Dome.
but
the Alamo.
let's say SAFC, right? The SAFC, the Toyota field that they have over there, where the SAFC play, that's an unfinished stadium. You can go there and you
Oh
can.
no, World Cup, you need to have a 70, 80,000
world class.
facility.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man.
you're not going to do that for San Antonio FC. San Antonio FC draws like 3,000 people. I mean, it is what it is. It's minor league baseball. It's minor league soccer. It's what it
Look
is.
what they say. Nobody cares about the World Cup, to be honest. Soccer. People get up for the World Cup.
People
Man.
get up for the World Cup.
I like
Sam
the World
Felina
Cup.
says blame Clinton for the Kelly closure. He could have stopped it, but he didn't. No, you had to close things down because the Cold War was over. The Berlin Wall had fallen. Soviet Union had broken up. It wasn't needed anymore. I mean, I understand what they were doing there. You don't keep things up for no reason. Mark Cavassa saying San Antonio was a top-notch city when Pear Apple County Fair was open. Damn straight, man.
Pear Apple County Fair.
I worked there for 3 summers. It was amazing. Best job I ever had was Pear Apple County Fair.
You still see the remnants of it out there. Now it's a church, but you can still see the remnants of the go-kart track.
Okay, so that church that's there, my God. Okay, I'm going to try to keep it PC, all right? It was weird. I was invited to a service there. The weirdest church experience I ever had was at that church that is now, or the former Pear Apple County Fair. I love going to African American majority churches. Done it many times in my lifetime. But they had a white pastor who was ending every sentence with "ha."
Oh my!
He was like, and Lord said blah 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 blah. Ha! I'm like, oh my God, dude, settle down. You do realize you're white. You do realize you're white. Stop doing the ha at the end of every sentence.
Yeah, and Matt Gomez is in here talking about it. If we remembered SAFC, we're talking about it. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Everybody who's out there, big supporters, the supporters group over there at SAFC and supporters of the team in general.
Right.
They're waking up feeling good about themselves this morning because the San Antonio FC are top of their conference right now, undefeated right now, 4-0.
Hey, 4-0 is 4.
They're leading their conference in points. They have 12 points right now.
And
Monterey Bay right behind them.
It was exciting when they made the run a few years ago when they won the title. That was a fun time. San Antonio with 12 points right now. Monterey Bay at 3-1 rather. New Mexico United 3-1. They said they got mad because I said minor league. I mean, it's professional because they get paid, but I mean, it's not MLS, is what I'm saying. It's one step below MLS. That's all I'm saying. USL is one step below MLS, kind of like AAA is one step below MLB. The MLS team that we were supposed to get is now residing in Austin.
That was a shit show altogether, man. That was just nonsense there. We won't talk about that because it gets upsetting, but the ball was dropped, Mike. The ball was dropped.
Mm-hmm. Are people on the stream right now trying to tell me that the MLS and USL are comparable, that they're peers? Because they're not.
MLS and USL are separate.
I understand that. So there's no AAA. There's no correlation to AAA, and I get that. But one is a higher level league than the other, right? Lionel Messi is playing for MLS rather. He's not playing for a USL team, right? He plays for Miami. He doesn't play for Monterey.
Right? I second that motion, Sam Salinas. F Austin FC.
Well, San Antonio FC beat Austin FC that one time, so that was
Mhm.
pretty badass.
Revenge.
So on any given Saturday, right, that
Looking-
could happen. High
Yeah,
man asking Brahma's coverage. No, man, I'd rather
bro.
cover high school football because that's
You know
exactly what
what?
you're
This
watching.
is this is what happens when we get into the Brahmas coverage. They had their opening weekend, and it was not no bueno, dude. They lost to the Arlington Renegades by a final score of 33-9. Absolutely got trounced, man, just like the Spurs did last night against the Golden State Warriors. I wouldn't mind going to the Brahmas game, though. I still want to go ahead and go to one and see if we can get some of our supporters here to go ahead and, you know, go to a game with us.
Hmm I didn't even realize the Brahmas were playing football, man. I didn't even know they still existed. But hey, good for them, man. Living their high school football dreams. Very, very nice. You know who looked like a high school basketball team yesterday was the San Antonio Spurs. At one point, down by 47 points, lost by more than 30 to the Golden State Warriors on a embarrassing level because all you saw yesterday, Joe, on social media were photos of Tim Duncan with his wife Vanessa Macias. You see Manu Ginobili there with his family, and all the Spurs greats were there to watch this game, and the Spurs were down 47 at one point. Um, Embarrassing on so many levels. Golden State shot 57% from the field, 47% from three. Spurs had 21 turnovers. I think only like 36 points by the starters. Sohan had 2. You
Yeah.
know, Chris Paul had 6. It was a bad game overall. One of those games that you want to just kind of file away and just, it was ugly. But the Spurs currently have the 8th spot in the draft. And that's what we're looking forward to, Joe, because at that 8th spot, what do we got? That 8th spot, what do we got? We got a 1 in 4 chance of being a top 4 team, right? A 1 in 4 chance of being a top 10 team, top four team. We have a 6% chance right now of getting the number 1 overall pick, Joe. So a 1 in 16 chance, right? And then all of these rumors over the weekend, Joe, saying that it's possible that Kevin Durant might go to the Spurs. Kevin Durant, who had an ankle injury yesterday, might be out for the rest of the season. Could become a Spur. So I asked the question, Joe, to people at your birthday party. What are the odds that the Spurs get Kevin Durant? Because if the Spurs get Kevin Durant, because salaries need to match, it would be in exchange for Vassell. Because they would be like, oh, we can't trade Castle. That wouldn't be part of it, Joe, because you need to match salaries. And the salaries suggest you'd have to trade Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson to make this happen, right? Maybe a Harrison Barnes to make it happen. And I asked the question, Joe, what's the odds that the Spurs get KD, right? Because it's not just like these hack places that are making these rumors. You're seeing Yahoo Sports, you're seeing Fox Sports, ESPN, all suggesting that this is a legitimate thing, that their sources are telling them that this is a possibility, right? That there's a possibility. So I asked a question to some of the people who were at your party, what are the odds, Joe? And they said, maybe a 50-50. Legit, right, Joe?
Yeah, maybe.
So
Yeah.
if there's a 50-50 chance of us getting KD and a 6% chance of us getting Cooper Flag, I said what you're telling me is that there's a 3% chance that our starting lineup next year is De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, Kevin Durant, Victor Wembanyama, and Cooper Flag. That's 3% chance. I'm just saying. And then I asked you this question, Joe. I don't know if you remember this because you were drunk. I said, what does this do for Brian Wright? And you said something to the effect of, what, suddenly he's a Hall of Famer? You got all mad.
Brian Wright.
You after a few drinks got mad because you were like, oh my God, if he backs his way into rings by doing nothing other than getting Wemby when we won the pick,
the obvious picks. Yeah.
Yeah. He makes the obvious, he's winning with obvious picks.
And people are going to be like, if it ain't right, it's wrong. I'm like, bro, shut up with that nonsense. This GM hasn't done shit for you guys other than just get the obvious picks over the last 2 seasons. Prior to that, it was a shit show, man. You know, every single one of the other, let's say, draft pieces that they selected, most of them are gone. You know, let's not forget the Primo debacle. That was under the watchful eye of Brian Wright.
Yeah, and beyond all that, we don't know what Brian Wright knew about that whole thing. You know, because that was all NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, right? We don't know what happened. We don't know how much Pop knew. We don't know how much Brian Wright knew or RST Buford, what they knew and when they knew it and how they handled the situation. All of that got swept under the rug. And Spurs fans just, kind of like that one dumpster fire scene from The Naked Gun. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. That's what Spurs fans are right now when I bring up Primo, because some crazy crap happened. Because how quickly did the Spurs sign that NDA and offer the settlement to Dr. Hillier Cawthon? Within minutes.
But no,
within minutes.
The Spurs were being dumb because it shouldn't even have come to that. If they were going to pay her off, they should have just paid her off before it even had the light of day, right? That was an embarrassing debacle by the organization. If they were going to pay her before the story even came out. No, we're going to play hardball, let the story come out, and then pay her afterwards. By then, Primo was long gone. He, was out of town. They were over there knocking on his door. He had reporters going to his house. It was just ridiculous, dude. I mean, at the end of the day, nobody had Primo on going number, in the first round. He probably would have been second or third round. No, but the Spurs wanted dumb stuff, dude.
There was only one team interested in Primo in the first round. That was Oklahoma City at like 16.
Yeah, man.
But every final mock draft had Primo as a second rounder. Every single one had him as a second rounder. The same thing happened about Luka Samanic. You go back in time, you look at the 2017 final mock drafts, NBA.com, the Ringer, and all that stuff. Guess what they had? Samanic, second rounder. Spurs took him at 17. They lucked in, or 19 rather. They lucked into Keldon Johnson being there 10 spots later. Keldon was supposed to be gone in the teens. He dropped into the 20s, fell into the Spurs' lap. But we were talking about this, Joe, is that, do you know what this reminds me of? If the Spurs start winning because Brian Wright's lucky, right? If the Spurs start winning because we got that 1 in 14 chance of getting Victor Wembanyama, or 1 in 7 chance of getting Victor Wembanyama, because stupid Houston Rockets passed up on Stephon Castle to get Reed Shepherd. And then because the Spurs win the Cooper Flag sweepstakes, and De'Aaron Fox wants to play for the Spurs, and De'Aaron Fox's wife is from where? San Antonio.
Yeah. She didn't even want to come back. She didn't want to come back either.
That's what he says. That's what he says. But do you know what this reminds me of, Joe? Those 3 rings that Jerry Jones has up there in Dallas. What did Jerry Jones do to win those rings? He didn't do a damn thing. That Herschel Walker trade and all of the trades for draft compensation, when it came to they got all these picks, they got all these players, and then they immediately waived them in order for them to get a compensatory pick. All that stuff, that was all orchestrated by Jimmy Johnson. So Jerry Jones has had a hard time because everyone gives Jimmy Johnson so much credit for winning the Super Bowls. Guess why? Because Jimmy Johnson was the one who put the wheels in motion, was the one who traded Herschel Walker, was the one who asked for the players in return, was the one who got the comp picks in return, who's the one who drafted those players. Jerry Jones didn't do shit. He didn't do shit other than own that team.
You know what? That's a comparison that I always make. And Tony Ornelas gets mad because I said, how are the Spurs becoming the Cowboys of the NBA?
Dude, I mentioned that months ago, Joe. And Spurs fans got mad, handle with fists, coming up and saying Jones wrote the checks. That's what he did.
You know what another hot take is? But it's not really a hot take. It's kind of like facts, but Spurs fans get really upset when you bring it up. Wash KD, right? They're like, I don't want KD on this team. A washed KD is still better than Devin Vassell. Where's the lie?
True.
Where's the lie?
I mean, how many wins is okay? Let's say that the lineup, Joe, is Fox, Castle, Wemby, KD, Sohan, or Barnes, right? That team gets into the play-in easily, right? Probably gets you into the top 6. What if you add a Cooper Flag or a Dylan Harper, man? Cooper Flag, by the way, all apologies. I was saying in November that I didn't see it because he didn't stick out. I was watching Duke games, and I was like, I mean, he looks good, but he's not standing out. No. This past month, Joe, Cooper Flag is showing that he's the truth, man. He's doing so well. He's doing so well out there. He does everything. And you look at the Duke games. 3 of those players are going to be in the top 10 this year in the upcoming draft.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
We had a viewer here, Good Cheetah, saying Devin can last a whole season, but both washed. You know what? Kevin Durant gives you a better chance of winning, and he'll be a little bit more consistent than one Devin Vassell. What did Devin Vassell do for y'all yesterday? Played 20 minutes, dropped 12 points. All right, against a good team, you know. And the same thing happened with
But
Stephon.
he broke a record for the month of March, Joe.
He did.
Most 3-pointers made in an individual month in Spurs history with more than 50.
I just
So it's
want
kind of
to
hard. He's an enigma.
want to see him become more consistent. Stephon Castle, he played 22 minutes yesterday. He had 9 points for the game. And then you had the backup, should I say, or the bench came in strong. Julian Champagny, he dropped in 11 points. Then you had Mamu dropped 14. Keldon dropped 19. Malachi Branham got some run there, and he played 13 minutes, 13 points. That's not bad, right?
Now, you mentioned that the Final Four is going to be a battle of all 1 seeds. It gets going Saturday at the Alamo Dome. First game is going to be a 5:09 tip-off. It's going to be Florida against Auburn. Again, both of them 1 seeds. Florida coming in at 34-4. Auburn at 32-5. Florida favored by 2.5 points, which is weird because Auburn rather, is the number 1 overall seed. And then after that, approximately at 7:49 San Antonio time, you've got Houston against Duke. Houston's been hanging on by a thread, dude. Every single game they seem to be hanging on. Survive and advance. They're taking on Duke. Duke again with Cooper Flagg and 2 other lottery picks on that roster. That's going to be at 7:49. Duke favored in that game by 4.5 points. Then you got the Jelly Roll concert. You got the Chris Stapleton concert. I think it gets kicked off Friday night with Pitbull headlining there in the downtown area.
That would be a hard pass for me for Pitbull. I ain't into him, dude.
Mr. 305?
Nah, dude. Don't really care for it. I'm just like, guess, it's a free concert, but I want to be in line standing there forever just to see Pitbull. Nah, I'm good, bro.
So people are asking the question. I see Hannah Fist asking the question about Final Four ticket prices, right? So I'm on the SeatGeek app right now to see how much it costs to get in there. How much do you think it would cost for nosebleeds to get into the?
If I'm a Texas man, I'd say $350, $400
for nosebleeds, huh?
For nosebleeds.
Okay, so I'm on SeatGeek right now. If we want to get 2 tickets, and we want to be section 331 of a football stadium, row 22. $645, Joe.
Woo.
Be sitting in the middle of nowhere.
But you're there. That's the important thing. You're still there.
The best deal, according to it's called the Deal Score, the 10. If you want to sit behind the basket,
$12,000.
And this is row X. So what is that? 24 seat rows up.
Mm-hmm.
$1,234 a ticket.
Not bad, dude. I thought it was gonna be more.
Now, what's cool about this though is that at least get 2 games, right?
Yeah. If I'm gonna go to
now the championship game though, Joe. Here's the weird thing. That's to go to 2 games, right? Because you're getting there for the 5 p.m. tip off. You're going there for the 7 p.m. tip off.
Yeah.
The best prices, the best deal for the final game, the championship game, which is Monday, April 7th, right? Including fees, upper level $215 to watch a championship game.
But if
if you want to be down low, $580.
All right.
It's a Monday night. It's a Monday night in San Antonio. It's a championship game. Only game there. $580. That's not bad. That's not too bad. Mexico Jr. says he went to the Final Four at the Alamo Dome in '98. It was an amazing experience. The last time I went to a college basketball game like that was about 3 years ago when I was at San Antonio Sports Star, and they had the Sweet 16 or the Sweet 16 games here in the Elite 8. I went to those games. That was pretty cool. Villanova was the team that advanced into the next round. So that was pretty fun. I got to hang out there with the players as they were trimming down the net. That was a cool experience.
That is cool, man. I'm excited that the Final Four is coming back to San Antonio. Like I said, I'm happy for the city getting its shine. And not only that, but they have other things you can do too. Let's say you can't make it to the one of the games, you also have the fan experience that you can go
Yeah.
to downtown, that's there. We can take the family. It's like $10 a ticket. I believe if you're a Capital One member, you can probably get in for free, so you get a free ticket to go. So it's not bad. I mean, it's something to do with the family and just hang out, and still be able to be part of the Final Four experience. Even taking in these free concerts, it's a great time as well. And if you can't make it in, the one thing that I did find out is that I guess it's on the right side of the stage, there's like an area where you walk, right? And they have it sectioned off and whatnot. And what people do, because they get turned away or whatnot because the venue's full, you can still sit down in that area there and you can still see the stage. You got to kind of stand up so you can see over the fence, but you can still see the stage. You can still hear the music and stuff. So if you can't get in, you can still make your way out there and be around the area to hear the concert and kind of take the sights in a little bit. So it's still good.
Yeah, it's a fun time, dude. And I would recommend for those of you who are looking at going to the Final Four stuff, the fan experiences out there are amazing, man, because I've gone to the Super Bowl ones for the fan experiences, the ones in Phoenix and LA. I've gone to the Final Four one in Dallas and in San Antonio when they've had it here. It's great, man. Those concerts, yes, it's packed and crowded, but it's a free show and it's good times. I've never been out there thinking to myself that I felt unsafe. Obviously, because it's the Final Four, you're going to have not only local police out there patrolling, but it's a federal thing as well, man. I'm sure you're going to have FBI out there and all that. It's a pretty secure place. I enjoy it, man. It's a fun time.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to show some love to Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5. When we come back, Joe, he has on his page video of that fight last night involving the Detroit Pistons. Got to get into that on the other side. Let's give some love to Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs.
Locked On Spurs is your daily Spurs podcast, hosted by Jeff Garcia, the lead Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Jeff has a healthy plethora of guests all the time on the Locked On Spurs podcast. You can also follow Jeff on Threads at Jeff G Ken's 5 SA. You can also follow Jeff on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. So make sure you go ahead and give Jeff a follow not only on Threads and Twitter, but also on YouTube at youtube.com/@Locked On Spurs. This is where you're going to be able to find the replay of the Locked On Spurs podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share.
Joe, now more than 7,000 subscribers on YouTube. Locked On Spurs, killing it. Again, you'll oftentimes see me and Joe on that show as guests. Does a fantastic job. Now, we can show his page at Jeff G Spurs Zone on Twitter. Several articles, obviously, about last night's game, what happened yesterday's game. Spurs lost by more than 30 points, down by 47 at some point. You can get some information about that, see some interviews and articles about that. Jeff Garcia was at the game doing all that. But the big story of the NBA was not that blowout. It was the fight that happened during the Detroit-Minnesota game last night. 7 people ejected. They include Detroit head coach J.B. Bickerstaff, center Isaiah Stewart, rookie forward Ron Holland II, and Marcus Sasser.
Let's go ahead and show some of the video there.
It's courtesy of the NBA and FanDuel TV, the fight going on in the background there. Also tossed from the game, Minnesota forward Naz Reid and guard Dante DiVincenzo. Assistant coach Pablo Prigioni also. Now, keep in mind, Detroit, this happened in Minnesota, right? So this was not Detroit. Back in the day, the Pacers and the Pistons got into a massive fight. It spilled on into the stands. But Joe, 7 people. This spilled into the stands in a way, right? I mean, there's people there. They're on people's laps right there. What kind of punishment do you think these guys are going to get? Because this is not them just pushing and shoving on the court. This drifted on to the first and second and third row, Joe. This has got to be, 3 to 5 game suspensions?
It's got to be, this is one of the two things that the league is going to do to make I guess, try to make an example of things, right? Are you going to suspend somebody couple games in the regular season, or are you going to make them miss some of the playoffs as well?
Hmm.
You know, Detroit, aren't they playoff bound? Right? They're a good team
Right.
in the Eastern Conference. They're playoff bound. How is the league going to make an example of them unless you make it count, right? And say, you know what? You're going to miss a couple games and you're going to miss the first game of the playoffs.
But I don't think they can do that. I think it has to be consecutive. They can't be like,
Yeah.
okay, you're
No,
gonna
I'm
miss
just
this
saying,
game.
if you really
and that
wanted
game.
to, if you wanted to make an impact, you know, and be like, hey, well, you know what? We'll go ahead and just make you miss out the first game of the playoffs. I know it's detrimental to the team, but you have behavior like this. What they're probably going to do is they'll probably suspend him for a game or two, fine him, and that'll be all. You know, they move on.
Now this all started second quarter, about 8 minutes to go. Pistons were up by 9. Isaiah Stewart had received a technical foul because he bumped into Dante DiVincenzo hard after a play.
Yeah.
And then later on, Nas Reed had the ball in his hands. The whistle had been sounded, and the player slapped the ball from his hands. And then there was pushing, and then the grabbing of the jersey. And there's a still shot of one of the players grabbing the nuts of one of the other guys.
Jeez.
When is that a thing, Joe? How is that a fight? You're gonna go, I'm gonna go grab the balls of somebody else. But
That's what you know.
DiVincenzo's right there having his sack grabbed. Some fan video from what happened out there. It's crazy. Yeah, DiVincenzo doesn't back down, man. He's a scrappy guy.
Mike, sorry, I like him.
JHNSB says that's how Mike won his Fiesta fight. That's right. I'm 1-0. 1-0. I told Chica the other day that Tonic is performing at
Oyster Bake.
Fiesta Oyster Bake.
Tonic, dude.
I love Tonic, dude. Great show, man. Great show.
Blast from the past. You think Chica's going to want to go out there and be with the peasants, or you're going to go get the VIP?
No, it'll have to be VIP. But on top of all that, though, she really likes oysters. So it's kind of like, hey, baby, they at least got food that you like there.
Like I was saying, man, we're at a certain age, right? So we don't want to be out there just getting beer spilled on us and all that. I'd pay, I think it's $175 each for the VIP treatment at Oyster Bake. You're in a nice pavilion, you know, where they have shade, your own bathrooms, your own private bars, and all that. I'd rather enjoy the experience. You know what I mean?
Is it that much, Joe?
It is, dude. I checked it out. It's like $175 a person, man. But I mean,
okay, so I'm looking at it right now. I might be able to convince Chica of this VIP experience.
only
Okay,
$350
admission on date. Okay, admission to the specific date for purchase only. Right.
Yeah.
You get $50 in coupons.
Yeah.
So it's really not 175. It's 125 plus you get 50 in coupons, right? But it's for non-alcohol beverage items. You do get 5 beer tickets. That's weird. A swag bag, unlimited access to private and shaded area, the VIP lounge, air-conditioned portable bathrooms, private VIP Bud Light Build-A-Bar, cell phone charging stations. Babe!
It's not a bad experience. I was telling you, man. Are you going to take her and you're going to be getting beer spilled on you, having to fight? No, bro. Go to the VIP. That's what I would do.
All right, 2025 Oyster Bake concerts, right? Let's see what they have here per day, right? So you got it's a Friday and Saturday, right? It's 25th and the Friday the 25th, right? So Friday the 25th, they've got Hoobastank headlining, along with Back in Black, which is a tribute AC/DC tribute album, tribute band, right?
Yeah.
Country Stage, Braxton Keith, Walker Montgomery, Brooke Lee. The Tejano Stage, Eddie Gonzalez, Patsy Torres. She's still rocking it. Man, I met Patsy Torres in 1999 in Corpus Christi.
Oh.
The Rock Stage, Sugar Ray and Tonic, Vertical Horizon. I know where I'll be.
Oh, God. You're going to be singing some Sugar Ray.
That's Saturday. Saturday, Sugar Ray, Tonic, Vertical Horizon. The Country Stage, it's Josh Abbott Band. And then the Tejano, David Lee Garza.
I
David
know
Lee
damn well
Gonzalez.
you ain't gonna be seeing no Tejano, Mike. Come on.
Nah,
As soon as you hear the
too ethnic.
boom,
No,
boom, you'll
because
be gone, man.
and then all of a sudden I'm in the background going dum boom dun 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 dun.
Oh, look at Tony Atlas. He's being that's a Mike Jimenez take right there. Patsy Torres needs to retire.
Was she big, or was she like a regionally big? Because I know she was
She's just
popular in Corpus
regional.
Christi when I lived down there.
I think she's regional, dude, to Texas.
Yeah. Hey, today's the 30-year anniversary of Selena Quintanilla passing.
Yeah, it is. And you know what is today too? I got to go ahead and call my sister up. It's also my sister's birthday.
Nice.
Yeah, so over the weekend, I had went and I spent some time with my family, day after my birthday on the 29th, Saturday morning. I went back to my roots, Mike. I had to go ahead and take my family out. I'll show a picture because I don't usually show a lot of pictures, but I took my beautiful mama out, my sister, and my aunt there as well. My mom and my aunt are identical twins. They look more alike when they were really young. It was hard to tell them apart. But yeah, it was good. I went and had some fun over there, going back to my roots on the south side, hanging out at Don Pedro's. Food was good, man. I liked it.
Now, were you the new side of Don Pedro's or were you the old side of Don Pedro's?
No, I was in the old side of Don Pedro's. So
Nice.
it was nice, dude. I liked it. I used to go there all the time when I was a kid,
Go on to my page there on Twitter.
Sure.
So again, the surprise was Chica wanted to head out there, man. So we went out there and met up with you guys, and we had it was Makers and Diet was flowing the entire night. Makers and Diet.
That's how
Crown
we
and
do
Diet,
it.
Makers and Diet. We was going back and forth between the two. We found the one bartender who was doing very liberal pours, man. The four of them were just doing the whole like one shot and here's your soda. We found that one bartender who was like putting a little bit of extra in there. That was nice. I just followed her around. I was like, no, that's my bartender. That one right there.
That's the one I want.
Oh, this was funny the other day. Did you see this? Scroll down. Okay, you're like, people chew on gum, sunflower seeds. Homeboy took the tape off of his bat. Batter up.
That's fucking nasty, dude. Can you imagine how much sweat and nasty shit's on there and you put that in your mouth, bro?
Yeah.
Woo.
Tonight, Chica and I are going to the Houston Astros game against the San Francisco Giants. Going to be I believe a 6 p.m. 6:30 first pitch. I'm excited, Joe. I have now switched allegiances, fandom. I am now going to be cheering for the Astros this year in exchange for her cheering exclusively for the Spurs in the NBA. None of this, I like the Spurs and Rockets. No, we choose one. We are a Spurs household. Spurs household. So I'm taking a look right now at the baseball. It's so sad when I go on the ESPN, I'm looking up scores for baseball, and it's like you have to go to other sports to see it. But the Rangers play today at 5:40 p.m. Rangers off to a 3-1 start, taking on the Reds today. It's an even game. It's an even game. Giants, Astros, both teams come in at 2-1. Astros favored to win tonight's game. Over under set at 7.5 runs for those who are degenerate gamblers and want to bet on baseball.
One of the things that I saw, I think it was like yesterday or this morning when I was scouring through the X, looking for stuff for us to talk about. MLB, the MLB streaming service on opening day experienced a snafu, a Netflix outage, if you will, where, how they had the debacle where was the Tyson and was it that streaming guy? What's his name? One of the brothers over there, Jake Paul, whatever. And they had a big issue with streaming service was horrible, was spotty, going in and out. MLB, their streaming service experienced the same thing as well. And to say sorry to the fans, what they went ahead and put out is that, what, we're going to give you all $10 off a $25 or more purchase at the MLB shop. So I'm like, I'm sure that fans will be able to buy something, maybe get a hat or something to add to, their gear. But I mean, it's better than $3, better than $2. Because let's face it, what did Netflix do for their customers? Not a damn thing. AT&T, when they had that outage and everybody was left in the dark and couldn't make phone calls or text anybody, they didn't do much of anything for anyone.
Right. Well, at
I
least
mean,
they tried to make up for it a little bit.
a little bit, so they did something, but still it's embarrassing because how can you all not anticipate that a lot of people are going to be watching in opening day? Opening day is a very important day, notoriously for baseball fans. They've been waiting for a long time for this day. So, you want to be able to have a good overall experience. So I understand it. Like Jesse A says, that's the price of shipping. It's true, it is, but hey, at least you don't have to pay for that. You can get a hat and just be like, well, $10, here's the shipping, So at least you got that to look forward to.
Can you go on TMZ.com real fast? I'm going to show you something real fast. Imagine that you are walking through the streets of New York City. You get on a subway, and Han Solo's there, Joe. You get on a subway, and you see Harrison Ford.
I got it.
I think that's funny, Joe. There's two stories out of New York I want to get into. First of all, romantic PDA in New York City. Harrison Ford's getting up there in age, man. We're not going to have him around much longer.
He is up there, but I mean, he's married to the younger Callista Flockhart.
Yeah, from Ally McBeal back in the day.
She had a great pair of legs back then, dude. She was always wearing any dresses.
She had that Natalie Imbruglia vibe back in the day, back in the late 90s.
Natalie Imbruglia.
Yeah. If you go to the story, if you scroll the story after that one, what happened in New York City last night during Saturday Night Live, Morgan Wallen kind of dissed the people on Saturday Night Live, and then he's trying to back away from it, and then he's going back and forth. Country music star, been to his bar there in Nashville. Long story short, at the end of Saturday Night Live, what they do is they get everybody onto the stage, right? And they have the jazz being played in the background, the music, and they're waving to the crowd and all that stuff. He jumped off the stage and posted on social media, get me back to God's country. And he didn't want to be there anymore. He was the musical performer last night. Says, get me to God's country. And this is where they all celebrate and everyone shakes hands. It's the final credits and whatnot. And he initially said, Joe, that he didn't know that he was on camera anymore, that he thought that his time was over, all that stuff. He was lying about it. He just wanted to be a jackass and sing a song, get off the stage.
Said, I sung my song. I'm out.
Jesse A reaches out to us and says, what a snowflake.
And no, JHNSB says, Mike is offended by Morgan Wallen's actions.
I mean, if you're going to accept what's going on. If you're going to accept the ability to have your music being played on there for free nationwide and get the notoriety of all that and have millions of people watching, and all they're asking you to do is just hang out for the closing credits, why be a dick?
Yeah. I hate how they do that. They make you watch the ad, dude. Like, never mind. I was going to show the video, but
yeah, he just skedaddled.
Yeah, skedaddled. But I was going to give a shout out to somebody here. Big shout out to our boy Sean Quintero, man. So
what you got?
Over the weekend, on Friday for my birthday, I went out and I enjoyed the PF Chang's over there with my family.
Yeah.
So Sean had it all like decked out. He had a crown for me. He decorated the whole table. 50th, birthday decorations on here. He even had a birthday card there for me from the staff and everything. So we got, as I came in through the door, Sean's waiting there for me. He has these bubble guns, and he blasts them in the air, and me and him take a picture, and then he's just doing the bubbles on me. And so family can take a picture and all that, and sat down. I mean, had a bottle of champagne there and everything. It was really nice service, really nice gesture from Sean over at PF Chang's at La Cantera. So I just want to give him a shout out and say thank you, Sean. Appreciate it, man. But if you all want to go somewhere nice for your birthdays, man, go see my boy over at the PF Chang's at La Cantera, man. Shout out to you, Sean.
That's outstanding. Let's give some love to MCS, baby. MCS General Contracting. They've been with us since day one. They power.
MCS General Contracting, more than 30 years of combined experience in concrete placement. They are the best in the business, honest pricing, high quality work. They get going on house foundations, driveways, concrete patio decks. If you want to extend the deck, extend the driveway. If you're a business and you need to put together a slab, a parking lot, or other concrete placement services or sidewalks, reach out to MCS General Contracting at 210-774-9155. They're confident in their skills, so give Chris Leha over at MCS General Contracting a call at 210-774-9155. And thank you for being a sponsor of this show.
That's right, home of that Diamond Heart Concrete. Head over fist saying Wallen is weird. Others are saying that not everyone wants to smile and wave. My dude, that's your job, baby. That's part of the deal. MCS General Contracting 774-9155, 210-774-9155 for your concrete placement needs. Again, they've been with us since day one. I've been a customer myself. They did a fantastic job, and I recommend it. Highly, highly recommend it. So, Joe, I was looking at the calendar. We are 24 days away from the NFL draft. 24 days, Joe. Stephen Jones, according to RJ Ochoa of Blogging the Boys, is indicating that the Cowboys are in the mood for a trade right now. What that means is I don't know, man, because some of the trades that they've had recently, Joe, for like backup wide receivers and giving up like third-round picks for them have not worked out very well. The Amari Cooper trade has not worked out well. Maybe, just maybe, Cowboys doing a trade is not a good thing, okay? Maybe, just maybe, they should just kind of like just go to the draft and just do what they do. But today's mock draft du jour is courtesy of CBS Sports. Garrett Podell just released this one 3 hours ago. He has Cam Ward going number 1 overall, Tennessee. Like every other mock draft has, Tennessee, Cam Ward, make it happen. He has Cleveland taking Shedeur Sanders. So having that quarterback room of Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders, who would be the starter? We'll figure that one out. Abdul Carter going to the Giants at number 3, the edge rusher from Penn State. Number 4, Travis Hunter going to the Patriots, the wide receiver / cornerback combo. Mason Graham, defensive lineman, going to Jacksonville. Ashton Jeanty, still, Joe. What happens? That's the thing, Joe. Ashton Jeanty at number 6 going to the Raiders. Maybe they can't pass it up. They have Brock Bowers, who's one of the best tight ends in the league. Ashton Jeanty, who could be one of the best running backs in the league. How could you go away from that? But if they somehow for some reason go away from Jeanty, man, all hell's going to break loose in the draft. As far as other teams are concerned, they have the Saints at number 9 taking Jalen Walker, an edge from Georgia. And they have the Cowboys number 12 taking Matthew Golden, wide receiver, University of Texas. Houston Texans, later on in the draft, they have projecting to taking, let's see here, Josh Simmons, offensive tackle out of Ohio State. Got to keep CJ Stroud upright. Joe, Matthew Golden, we okay with that? Would you give it a thumbs up?
I would not be opposed to that. I would give that a thumbs up.
He ran a 4.29, Joe. Stud for UT. It sells shirts. It'll sell jerseys. Come on, you imagine a Cowboy jersey with the word golden on it. Come on, man. Come on.
I would not mind it. I would not be opposed to it. I went on record saying that, having 2 receivers there, one to go ahead and complement CeeDee Lamb, is going to give Dak some targets out there. This, like I said, the Cowboys don't really have a running game to speak of. If you don't have a running game, what do you need? More targets to throw to, right? Mm-hmm. That would actually help their cause a little bit. Maybe it makes them a little bit better than last season. Is it going to still get them into the, let's say, the wild card or play-in berth, or playoff berth? I'm not sure. I don't think they have the talent still to go ahead and contend for that. But will they be improved? Most definitely.
Samson is asking Golden Stream. Come on, man. We're better than that, Joe. Joe, what you got going on, man? What's it called? We were talking about at your birthday party, lots of different things, and one of the things you were talking about was, you were going on and on and on about about buying a woman a drink. She
Yeah,
proves single.
I'm saying, like, if you're going out, right, and you're going somewhere and you make money and you work hard, it's disrespectful. You're picking somebody up, you have a nice car, right? And I was telling Chica, if you pick somebody up and you have a nice car and you're gonna go and take them somewhere to eat, and you're buying the meal, I would think, being a gentleman, and they're over here asking for shit. Can I have a drink? Can I buy this? We're on a date. Buy whatever the freak you want. Work too hard to worry about price tags, and that's not a flex. It's just a fact. If you work hard all week, it costs what it costs to go out and have fun at the end of the day. I'm
Right.
not looking at, oh, you got to watch what you're going to drink. You got to watch what you're going to buy. Keep the meal under a certain price. Let's just go have fun. You know,
Mhm.
that's basically the end of the day. Just go out and have fun.
Well,
What's
it was exciting going out there because everyone seemed to be fans of Chica. You enjoy her company.
Yeah.
Sean and his wife enjoy her company, and Alex and all them, and Gabe and his wife. Chica's like, people like me. I was like, I know.
Yeah, Chica's fun. She's fun, man. And she's a nice person, and she talks to everybody, makes the round, says hi to everyone. Everyone says hi to Chica. And of course,
Not
we all say hi to you. We're happy to see you there too, Mike.
she's not afraid of the drinks, dude. She's not afraid of the drinks.
Oh no,
That's
she just likes to have fun.
any Shefty bombs going on today?
Nothing really. I mean,
The
what we
main thing
see
I saw. Oh well, there is a Shefty bomb. There's two actually. One
there's
was
chatter.
it is now some, according to Kalen Kaler of ESPN, senior NFL writer, that right now during the competition committees at the NFL, that there is now wide support to ban the tush push.
Oh yeah, no, I saw that earlier today. I had put that out there, tweeted it out too. There was a number of things that they're going to be discussing here shortly. And this is amongst the list. I'm going to show it to you right now so everybody can see of the things being discussed. And at the top of the list is the tush push. They want to make it banned, Mike.
Yeah, I like it.
And look
It's
at
not
what else.
football. It's a rugby play. It's not football.
Look what else is being discussed there. I don't know if you can see this. I'm sharing it on the stream right now, but they're going to also be discussing overtime rules, potential 18th game. They want to go ahead and stretch the season out, I guess, to 18 games. Flex scheduling for Thursday night football, a new postseason seating, promotion of flag football, and potential ban of the tush push. Promotion of the flag football, it's because the league now is pursuing what it would look like if they had a women's division or a women's league and it was flag football. So that's something that's being explored as well.
Well, let's go through all these. The overtime rules being discussed. Um, my problem with the overtime rules right now is that, if correct me if I'm wrong, but when an overtime game goes, it's not a full quarter. It's like 10 minutes, right? So what exactly are they talking about when it comes to the overtime rules?
Yeah.
A potential 18th game, not interested. It's going to be bad football if you get to 18 games. The
Yeah.
league used to be 14, then they got it to 16. The only reason why they would make it to 18 is to make more money. It would also coincide with a lot of what's going on with college football, and it would screw them over. No, keep it at 17. It's perfectly fine the way that it is. Because if they do an 18th game, Joe, they're going to have to add a second bye, which makes it a 20-week season, which makes it too long of a season. And as spectators, as fans, we're going to be like, oh, well, 20 weeks, give us all of that, right? Give us more fantasy football weeks. It has nothing to do with that, Joe. It has everything to do with the fact that if they become more likely to get hurt, if the product starts to suck even more than it does already, it's going to be bad. Flexing T at Thursday Night Football, you can't flex Thursday Night Football because that's not fair to the teams that are being flexed. Post seeding,
Yeah.
postseason seeding, I'm fine with that. Flag football, don't care. Tush push, ban it.
I mean, the tush push is one of those plays that it's basically unstoppable.
It is unstoppable.
It's unstoppable. And I can see where they would have rules against it because the Eagles are the ones that started it, right? The tush push, and it's going on for a bit now. I mean, what do? You let
Right.
it continue the game? What are you, thinking the implications are? I mean, if you can't stop it, I mean, other teams are going to adopt it too. And it's going to be utilized. It's going to be a thing moving forward. If you ban it, okay, now they're going to. What are they going to do now?
Well, the problem is you cannot have a play that's successful 100% of the time. That's not a play then. And Samson is asking the question, well, so what if it's a rugby play? Well, if you want to watch rugby, go watch rugby. It's a football game. It's a football game, and that whole lineup, the way that they all push each other forward and all that stuff, it's just wrong, man. It's just wrong. Yeah, Joe. The sound's starting to go in and out a little bit right now.
Do you hear me? Hear me now?
A little bit better. A little bit. It came back. It was about a 10-second alien thing going on, but we're fine.
Yeah,
We're
it was
fine.
probably a hiccup in the network. It's probably what it is.
Joe, so we're gonna have to both get new studios, man.
Yeah, get new studios here shortly. I mean, the thing is, too, next time you're in town, what I need to do is I need to send you back with the little kit that
Yeah.
has the cable, the XLR cable, your stand, microphone, the whole bit for you. So you can just plug that into your computer. Don't have to use the headset anymore. And also send you away with the headphones, too, so you can kind of hear now.
Mhm.
And that way it'll keep you on point because it is weird when you can't hear yourself,
Mhm.
like you do when you're in studio.
Right.
Yeah, it throws you off.
So I'm reading right now on mysa.com. There were 4 people, 1 person killed, and 4 people shot at the Aura Bar and Lounge on the Northwest side on I-10 and Wurzbach.
Wow.
Crazy. Says a man got into an altercation with another customer on the bar's patio, pulled out a gun and shot at them. A male bystander then pulled out his own gun and fired back. Dude, this is why you get patted down at bars, man. Whenever we go to like where's that one place we go to? We go to that place on Petrenko. There's a hangar, and then there's that other bar that we go to.
Stout House.
Stout House. They pat you down for this particular reason right here. I understand people's right to carry guns, all that stuff. But if you're going to go get drunk, maybe not the place to have it. Maybe.
I mean, I've been to the Stout House and I've been to the Hangar Bar and Grill. I didn't mind the Hangar. The Hangar's actually a nice place to go, man. I enjoyed it because it's kind of an outdoor and an indoor bar, and it's not very big. It's small. But if you pull up right to the bar and they have the TVs out there and they have like, little appetizers. They don't really have food. It's bad. It's not bad. It's a good experience. I just pulled up there one time with my brother-in-law and my good friend Ed Luna. We watched the Spurs game there. It was a nice place, man. Everybody enjoyed the little appetizers. I think I bought a basket of fries and something else for the table, for my party that was there. And I met somebody else, a fan of the show, was there too. I hung out with him and his wife. It was a good time, man. I liked it, and they liked it too. So I felt safe there. I didn't say like I was a rough crowd and anybody was getting real rowdy, but we didn't stay real late. But I do like the fact that if you go into some of these places, they have the metal detector. They kind of, hey, you got anything, knife, whatever on you? At least they try to make you safe, in the venue that you're going to. Yeah.
Samson is asking the question, why is the tush push wrong? What's unfair advantage the tush push present? It's unfair because the defense doesn't have an alignment that can stop it. There's no defensive alignment that anyone's ever been taught that can stop it. You could have both linebackers come up. You could have 8 in the box and all that stuff. Still not going to stop it because you have all 11 players of the offense moving forward at one time. There's not one defensive scheme that has all 11 players bunched together.
Yeah.
And if you did do that, tight end goes to the left, they're wide open, or wide receiver goes off the left, they're wide open. There's no defensive scheme work to stop it. There isn't. Remember that one guy that kept jumping over the line and started getting like, they're like, oh, if you do that one more time, it's going to be an automatic touchdown. That's why.
You know what I was going to do too, man? I'll give a shout out. I forget because I'm looking through everything on my X. I forgot to give a shout out to Matt Gomez here, man,
Yeah,
and Matt Lerma. They both showed up to the party. And look at shout out to FTC de San Anto. You know, he says our Jefe meets Jefe, Area 210. We will support the show.
that's
Happy
awesome.
birthday, man. I appreciate you. It was nice seeing Matt Gomez out there. Had a drink with me. You know, Matt Lerma went in there. He brought some contraband with him. He brought me a bottle to the bar. I'm like, I gotta put
Nice.
this in the bag because you know, they're like, no outside food, no outside drink. I'm like, oh crap, I gotta put it away. I really do appreciate it, man. Matt
Yeah.
got some shots for the table too. You know, everybody was bringing shots to the table. I had like maybe 4 or 5 shots that that night plus drinks. So yeah, I was feeling
Nice.
good. It was a good time overall, man.
Sam says, read the rest of my comment. Someday someone will figure out how to a scheme to stop the tush push. They can't. There is no mathematical way of aligning players defensively to stop it. It's impossible to stop it. You can't. There is no scheme or design or way to defend it. It's a defenseless play. There's a reason why 98% of the time it works.
Yeah.
There's no way you could jam all 11 players up together. It's still not going to work. Scrums are designed to move forward. And especially if you have these offensive linemen who are 340 pounds, offensive linemen typically outweigh defensive linemen.
Yeah.
Offensive linemen typically outweigh linebackers. They're the heaviest mother effers on the field. It's unstoppable. If there's any play that's 98% successful, you gotta ban it. It's bad football.
Yeah. That I agree with that to a certain degree.
You know how you stop it? Tear the knees of the person in front of you.
God,
That's how you stop it.
very grim saying stuff like that, man. But there's really nothing you can do when it comes to the tush push. I mean, does it have a place in football? I mean, you need half a yard, you need a yard. I mean, you got to do what you got to do, right? Move the pile forward, you know. But I understand why they want to ban it. But I mean, somebody else is going to think of another play that's going to take its place, and you're going to ban that as well. So I don't know, man.
There's not a replacement play for this, Joe, because it's not a football play.
Somebody will come up with something else. I guarantee it.
Remember that one time was it the Cowboys that tried to have Zeke Elliott be by himself as a sole offensive lineman that one play? And he got rolled over.
I remember that. You know, I forgot to also give a shout out to our Jefe, Jeff Garcia, because Jeff came over with me on Saturday before he went over and covered the game. He came over here and we had a little bit of an early dinner. He came in tow and he's like, "Hey man, I'm gonna drop off your birthday gift and spend some time with you before you head on out." And he brought Burger Boy for us, so we just sat down for a bit, talked, brought over the gifts that he gave me, and just had a good time. So shout out to him, man, for coming out, making the time to spend some time with me. And also Matt Lerma as well. That's a good picture of everybody that was out there. Some of the people that were out there, not everybody though. I like that. And some guy pointed out, hey, where the little hand is that Goldberg in the background? No, it's not Goldberg. I think it's somebody that just looks like Goldberg. So that was pretty funny. They thought somebody had made a comment saying, is that Goldberg in the back? I'm like, no, just some old guy that looks like him.
Now you mentioned Burger Boy, right? Burger Boy
Yeah.
making the news today. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see. What did they do?
According to MySA, Burger Boy is going to change its hours.
Really? You're gonna stay open 24/7?
Let's see here. It goes the new hours of operation, because I think they usually close at 10.
Mm.
They're now closing at midnight,
Oh, I see.
Sunday through Thursday, and 1 a.m. on Friday and Saturday.
How about that? I'm gonna show it right now on screen. So staying open a little bit later, maybe to go ahead and have to feed some of the people that are enjoying the frivolity of the midnight hour, out there coming from the bar and want to, get something before 12 a.m. hits.
Now, what's that burger place on Hildebrand? Hildebrand and San Pedro. It's oh my God.
Which one? Hildebrand and San Pedro.
Yeah, somebody asked this question. It was Eric Salinas from Spurs Twitter. Asked the question: what's the better burger joint? Is it Biggs or I don't know? Hildebrand Burger. Let me see here. I can't think of the name there, Joe. But Joe, my problem with Burger Boy, it's good. The fries are good.
Burger's
The
good.
drinks are good. The shakes are good. The burgers come with American cheese.
Don't put
Stop with this.
American cheese on it.
There's no other option.
Just tell them not to put cheese on there. Just bring your own.
Eating a burger without cheese is not American, Joe.
Well, what do you want? You're gonna put Colby Jack? What are you gonna put on it? Swiss?
Provolone, cheddar, Colby Jack, Mr. Juicy's. All right, that's the one I was thinking about. Jesse is the one who brought it. They asked the question, Mr. Juicy or Burger Boy. The answer is Mr. Juicy. Burger Boy's good. No disrespect to them. They're good. If they had better cheese, Joe, I'd be there so often. But the lack of good cheese makes it disappointing.
Oh, Mike. I don't mind me some Burger Boy. I like Burger Boy.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Juicy. That's a bad name for a burger place.
Well, they had one place that already closed down, but it was down Fredericksburg Road, just a stone's throw away from USAA, and it was called Quickie. And their tagline on the side of the building says, everyone loves a little Quickie.
Yeah. It was funny because there's a Rudy's barbecue over here,
Yeah.
and we're talking about getting some brisket. And I was saying, Chica was saying that her brother went and got brisket, right? And we want to go buy and have some. And I asked, "Is it lean or moist?"
Oh God.
And she goes, "They don't call it that, do they?" And I'm like, "Yes, that's exactly what they do." Tony and I was saying, Mike is a Lululemon and Mr. Juicy kind of guy.
Oh man, we do have some breaking news though. I just saw this right now.
What you got?
Being shared by Front Office Sports, being reported by Front Office Sports right now, that Zach Lowe, former ESPN NBA reporter Zach Lowe, is joining forces with the Ringer.
Nice.
And he's going to be joining up with Bill Simmons once again.
The Ringer's a great outfit, man. I don't know a lot of people who watched or listened to the Ringer. Back when ESPN had Bill Simmons and he had Grantland, he sold off Grantland and went to start with the Ringer. The Ringer is basically Grantland reincarnated, like the 30 for 30 stuff that they used to do. But they do an amazing job talking about movies and music. They also talk a lot about sports and the NBA and NFL in particular, college football. But the podcasts that they have are very, very thought-provoking when it comes to NBA coverage, when it comes to draft coverage and things like that. I'm a bigger fan. You know what, Joe? We are so in tune with trying to, like, when you go online, you go to ESPN.com, right? You go to FoxSports.com or whatever the case would be. Really, The Athletic and The Ringer are so much better than ESPN.com. ESPN.com is great when it comes to, like, getting scores. When it comes to actual content for sports and entertainment, ESPN's not where it used to be, man. Not at all.
Yeah. ESPN has taken a little dive as of late. I think it's just that people are starting to catch on that it's nothing more than entertainment. They just say things that are outrageous and people are starting to get tired. I think it's kind of run its course already. People are starting to look for somebody else, go and tune into like podcasts or live streams and get their news from another outlet because they're getting tired of the same old, same old. And one of the ESPN reporters was kind of speaking his mind a bit. I saw this the other day. This is courtesy of NBA Central, but they were saying Michael Wilborn says all the Bronny talk on ESPN is just for clicks and refuses to discuss him the way other shows do. And he went on to say that he has a 17-year-old son. So he says this matters to him and he's particularly sensitive to do it. He goes, I'd do anything for my kid. I would hug LeBron for what he did for his kid. He goes, there were shows that talked about Bronny every day. You know what shows I'm talking about. I don't care if my bosses get mad. They would try to get me and Tony to talk about it. No, we're not going to do it. They talked about him more than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That's pandering. It's all pandering. Let's be clear. Our business is a piece of shit a lot of days. And Michael Wilborn double downing and saying, like, I'm not going to do it. You know, he has standards, I guess. And he says, be damned if they get tired of me. Not wanting to go ahead and talk about Bronny James all the time, but he has standards, dude. So, hey, good for him.
That's awesome. Spurs. I'm reading right now a question that someone put up there on Spurs Twitter. Should the Spurs shut down Stephon Castle?
Yeah.
I mean, he's already won Rookie of the Year. He's not going to lose it. Should they shut him down? Would you be upset if they did? Just to preserve his health.
I wouldn't be upset if they did. I mean, what are you all playing for at this point?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have a handful of games now. April is already going to be happening by tomorrow. We're at the end of March. You got what, 2 weeks left? Maybe 3? Start shutting people down, man. Keep them healthy. Why risk injury when you're so near the end of the season and you have nothing to play for? Mathematically, the Spurs are already going to be out of even contending for a play-in spot in the play-in tourney. It's just mathematically impossible. You have to have the other teams in front of you go on a huge losing streak in order to give yourself an opportunity, and you'd have to win out. Spurs aren't going to do that. We'll be lucky if the team finishes with maybe winning 2 more games the rest of the season. Being honest, I mean, there's nothing else to play for. Shut people down, man. Give the other guys some run, you know?
JHNSB saying Castle ain't winning us any games alone, and that's basically all he is.
Not.
You know, he's out there playing with the 39-year-old Chris Paul. He's going out there playing with Jeremy Sohan. He's out there playing with Champagnie and Barnes, and I mean, some of these are good, decent players, man. But you know, the season's coming to an end, right? The season's going to come to an end in the next 2.5 weeks anyway.
Think about their health.
Yeah.
Why would you want to risk one of your better players getting injured? Don't. You know, you got nothing else to worry about. Hey, man, we're just going to shut you down for the rest of the season. We want to risk injury. We want you healthy. You know?
If all went to form right now, the Spurs would be picking at number 8 and 16.
Yeah.
8 and 16.
Oh, we also had a mention here. Somebody wants to go ahead and do that. Sam Salinas was a friend of the show here. He says, before the show ends, mention it every day this week. I'll try to. He says, get out to the SAFC game Sunday. He goes, national TV. Got to pack the stadium. So make sure you all go out and support San Antonio FC, support local teams, and go out there, man. Hit up Sam Salinas, Matt Gomez. They do great things out there for the San Antonio FC. They're part of the supporters group. You'll have a great time with them.
They're undefeated, baby. Undefeated. All right, fellas, I got to get going. Hey, give me a call, 210-508-0369, 210-508-0369 for your financial services that you may need, whether it be retirement planning, investment strategies, life insurance, disability, long-term care. Give me a call, 210-508-0369. Tonight, I'll be posting photos on social media about the Astros game. So I'll be at Dakin Park, Joe.
Nice.
For the game tonight. So I'll be sporting some Astros gear. Again, I am now a converted Astros fan.
You have to be.
We'll be back tomorrow, fellas. Everyone have a fantastic time. Hit the like button on the way out.
All right. See y'all tomorrow. We're out.